everyone, thank you so much for being here. My name is Makeda. If this is your first video by me, please subscribe. If you are coming back, thank you so much. Today we're going to talk about 6 romances that I want to recommend to you that have bingeable reads. I have so many I could have put on this list, but I tried to bring it down to 6 so we wouldn't be here a whole day. So if you want to see these 6 romances that I think are bingeable reads that you would not want to stop reading them, please keep watching. So the first book I want to talk about is The Shadow Prince's Ruin by K.A. Merikan. So this is actually book 2 in the Dark Companion series, and I have not read book 1. I asked it what if I could go into book 2 without having read book 1, and she said yes. So I was like, bet. So if you want to do the same thing, you didn't really miss anything like that. But if you want to go in obviously in order, then you can do that as well. So this book um follows Sylvan. I'm gonna go help Sylvan and Hawke. So the book starts out with Sylvan being banished to the human realm for committing treason in the Nightmare Court. So obviously you will see the treason that he commit or tried to commit in book 1, but now in book 2 it starts off with him being in the human realm and he's talking about how he's been banished and he's wearing this like necklace or like a choker. What do you call those? Why am I my mind blanking? Like a collar, yes, a collar around his neck, and he can't take it off with like human means, because the king or the lord of the nightmare court put it on him and then banished him to the human realm. So he is currently working at this like burger joint, and he's like just seeing all these humans and being annoyed by them, and he's just like, I need to figure out a way to get back to the nightmare court. So he's ruminating about how he's going to go about doing this. And this guy comes in, the place is about to close. So this guy comes in to the drive through and he's like, I would like to order, and just orders a whole bunch of stuff on the menu. So Sylvan is like, okay, well, it'll be 25 minutes. Come up to the front to pay, or come up in the drive-through line to pay. So when he comes up, he realizes that this person is not driving in a car. He's just like signed up in the drive-through line, and Sylvan is like, you can't be there. This is only for the drive-through. And immediately Hawk is like obsessed. So Hawk now, he is an escaped felon. And that is why he is laying low and going to this burger joint to get some food, because he just escaped. He was like in a bus in the like police like van, getting ready to go to jail, and there's like a crash happens and he escapes, and now he's like trying to get some data and trying to stay low. So that is how they meet. And with them like arguing over the drive-through and he not being supposed to be in the drive-through, Hawk sees him and he's like, this cute little like man is so handsome and so cute, and I just want to sleep with him. So it starts off kind of like that, like sexual tension type of way. And Sylvan, even though yes, he could see that Hawk is attractive, he's also like, this is the like most dark and like powerful shadow I've ever seen, which is Hawk's shadow. So Hawk is a human, but apparently humans could still have like these type of shadows that the people from the Nightmare Court could like attach yourself to. So Sylvan is like, I want to make this human my dark companion. So that's like, it's not really a mate. It's like they could pick who they want. So if they see a human with a shadow that they want, they could pick that person and make them their dark companion. It's like that. So they decide to struck up a bargain where Sylvan is like, you can be my dark companion and I will give you my body, because Sylvan is a Virginia Slim, as Mallory says on TikTok. So Hawk is like, this guy is insane. I don't even know what that companion is. Like, he's kind of like, but I want to sleep with him. So sure, I would just play along with this. Maybe just into like fantasy role play. So for the like half of this book, Hawk thinks every time Sylvan talks about like anything magical, Hawk is like, oh, look at him. He's so like lost in the head, but at the same time he's so cute, and maybe he's just using this to cope. It's just so funny. Like that part of the book is so funny, where Hawk is like Sylvan will say something magical and Hawk will just like kind of write it off because he just want to sleep with him, and it's something Baron saying it, but in the book it doesn't come off as like condescending or anything. Is I don't know. You just have to read it. I'm talking too much on the book, but this book was so good. I could not stop reading it. This was my first fantasy for the year, and I I can't. I really want to go back to book 1, and I cannot wait for her to continue this series. I loved it. It was just so good. Book 2, oh, it was so good. And I have a thing where I always end up loving book 2 more than book 1. So I hope I still like book 1, but book 2 was so good. I love that trope where it's like, Elvin, or like not even Elvin, like Twink. I hate saying that. It's just somewhere to me, but like size difference. But the one who's the smaller one is like very bratty and bossy and just like does not take any crap from the bigger one, and the bigger one is like a basically a golden retriever. I love that trope or like that type of MC so much. So that was it for me. And then add on a fantasy like element, and the world building was so cool. I don't know. This just had me in my fantasy bag, and I want to read so much more fantasy now. And this book was long, but I still loved it. I loved it so much. I can't wait for the audio to come on because I will be getting it and rereading it. So sorry for talking so long on that book. I just read it and it was everything like fresh in my mind. So I'm just like, this book was so good. Okay, so let's get to the next one. The next one that I want to talk about, I actually have the book here, and that is Exiled by Jesse Walker. So this book is perfection. Perfection. I've been waiting to talk about the book for a while. Hopefully, the abs don't like, I don't know. But if you have not read this book, you can see it's a chunker. This book follows Skylar and Nolan. And Skylar, well, both of them meet at this rehab that is on this private island for like the rich and famous. So half of the island is like a resort, and the other half is like a rehab for like rich people, elite people, right? So Nolan and Skylar meet on that island on the rehab part because Nolan deals with like he's like an alcoholic, and Skylar, since he's young, he's had a lot of issues, I guess you could say, and his parents are very rich and like kind of refuse to believe that something is wrong with him, so that they like how to say they have been ignoring not how to kind of hard to explain. They have been carrying him to different doctors that are trying to see like what is wrong with him because he's been having behavioral issues since he was young, but they also just refuse to believe that something is actually fully wrong with him until as he gets older. I think maybe in like I think he's like 17 or 18, he tries to commit, you know, unalive himself, and the parents is like, okay, this is the last straw, like, and because the way he tries to unalive himself is by pills, so it makes him think that he was like a drug addict, even though he's not. So the parents send him to rehab, even though he really technically doesn't belong there because he's not a drug addict. He has like he's on the spectrum basically. So it's just bad all around because it's not even a place he doesn't even need to be, and he knows that, but he and all doesn't really know how to like explain what is wrong with him because he doesn't really understand what is wrong with him as well. So he's at the rehab, and Nolan, the book starts off with Nolan at this beach, and he's like just contemplating life because he's like he and all refuses to believe that he's like a full alcoholic. He kind of in denial. But an accident happened where he almost lost his like infant daughter. So that's why he is there. And he's like just like contemplating life at this beach, and he sees this guy like walking to like this part of a cliff where it has like a caution sign saying to do not enter. So he's like, hey kid, like where you think you're going? In seeing the do not enter sign right there. And this kid happens to be Skylar. Well, he's a kid, but he's over 18. And Skylar is like kind of like lost in his own like world. And Nolan runs up and is like, what are you doing? And that kind of like gets Skylar out of it. And then they kind of go from there. Nolan feels seen because Skylar isn't like judging him, and then Skylar feels seen because Nolan is doing the same thing. Like they just feel like they just like are able to be comfortable with each other because they're not trying to figure out, okay, what's wrong with you or what is you know what I mean? Like they just are able to be really comfortable with each other. So that causes them to bond even more, as well as of course they decided to feel attracted to each other. Skylar more so than Nolan, well outwardly, because Nolan's trying to keep it in because he's never thought about a guy in that way. So it does have by awakening, and they decide to while they are there for the 6 months, 6 weeks, sorry, to be each other's like I wouldn't say helping hand, but be each other's person while they go through their 6 weeks at this rehab. And then when it's time to part ways, they part ways gracefully. And of course, things does not go as smoothly as that because feelings start to grow. So this book is really, really beautiful. It's long, but it's binge. I read this in like probably a day and a half. I binged this book. This book is amazing, and it's actually an audio now, and the audio is amazing as well. You will eat this book up. There is like plot twists. I'm not gonna say anything else because just read it for yourself. But this book is heart wrenching. So many times I was like punching the throat, like this book is perfection, and I've been writing like looking for this high again ever since. Honestly, Jessie Walker, I've always like this was my first book from her because I've been so like scared to read about books because they are all of them are like this big, and it has ones that are bigger. But after reading this, I was like, oh, okay, I now understand why she's a coveted author. Like, I now understand her books, her writing, very descriptive, but not boring. Is just perfect, just perfect. So read this book. I highly recommend it. The next one I want to talk about is Romeo Fallen by Jesse A. Train. So this book is childhood best friends to enemies slash strangers to lovers. So this book follows Romeo and Jude, and they met when they were like 5 years old, and they have been best friends ever since. They grew up together, they shared foods together, and in their late teenage years, while they are going to college, they kind of like, well, honestly, from like 15 going up, they start to like slowly kind of separate from each other. Um, Even though that wasn't their plan. The book starts off in the present tense, and you are seeing that they like kind of like, I wouldn't say enemies, but more like just like a strange kind of a way, and they actually meet up because Jude is actually coming back to the town where Romeo and Jude like grew up together. Jude has been living somewhere else for the past while, and he's coming back because he wants to like refurbish his childhood home. And while he's coming back, he goes to the supermarket and he sees Jude for the first, well, he sees Romeo, sorry, for the first time in like years, and you can see that the meeting is very stilted, and you're trying to figure out what happened, like how did they get to this point. So it is from past to present is how the story goes, back and forth. And I usually don't really love that, but I actually loved it in this because you see how you really see from literally like 5 years old how close they were, how like they were like this, like literally shared everything. That like where you see Judy, you see Romeo, like so now seeing them being so like stilted with each other, you're like, what the heck happened? So this book has like a very, very, very like, honestly the whole book is surrounded by a miscommunication. So I know not a lot of people like that, but I actually still loved it. I loved it, honestly. So but if you don't really like miscommunication tropes, then maybe stay away from this one because I literally what the whole story is like based on. So either way, I love this book. Like it was a 5 star for me for 2024, and I have the order and I would love to reread it, and I need to get the paperback. So I highly recommend. Like because you're trying to figure out why they are not friends and why they're not best friends anymore, and is it that past the present timeline? That's what made it bingeable because you really want to know, like, oh, okay, see in past, like this how close, how good they was, see in present, this how like this stiff they are with each other. What the heck happened? And that made it bingeable. So I love this book. Next we have Hamartia. I also have this one by Scarlett Drake. Look at this cover, isn't it so cute? So this book follows Jay and Raphael, and Raphael is an American rock star, and Jay is a K-pop star, which is like come on uniqueness already. So you have the like their cultures are so different. So you have that, and they have kind of like a language barrier. Even though Jay knows English, he's not like fluent with it. So you have that language barrier, which is so fun to read. And this book has cheating. I have to put it up front there because I know that's not people's favorite. So Raphael, the American rock star, he has a girlfriend, and well, they're kind of going through a rough patch as the book is, well, throughout the book, honestly. And there's no like, Rafa doesn't sleep with his girlfriend while he is like with Jay. So I will say that. So I know most people kind of, So at least that is a consolation. But the book starts off with Rafa and his bandmates are in this bathroom, like this, like they are. I can't remember where they are. I think they're at a concert or a Grammy Award show or something like that. And they are in this bathroom and they are like talking about Jay and his K-pop group, and they are saying like some very bad stuff. And while they're saying all these things in the bathroom, Jay actually comes out of one of the stores, and they're like, "Oh my god, did he hear everything we were just saying?" And Jay kind of plays stuff like he didn't hear, but he most definitely understood what they were saying. So ever since then, Rafa's been feeling horrible about it. And for the next 2 years, he begins to literally stalk Jay on like social media because he's like feeling good and he wants to like explain that he didn't mean what you were saying. Because mostly the friends were saying the things, and Rafa was just kind of like he kind of like not stopping them. And he ends up seeing Jay again 2 years later, and for those 2 years, he literally been stalking and kind of starting to get obsessed with Jay. And they see each other again after that 2 years, and things kind of go from there. Things get very sexual because this is what Rafa's like by awakening because he didn't he's never felt attracted to a guy before this. So he's like, what the heck? And Jay, he has a lot of stuff going on. You will learn in the book, I don't want to spoil it for you, but he knows that Rafa is with somebody, and he almost likes that because it means that there's no way they could get attached because he kind of seeing someone else. So even though it sounds bad, I know it sounds like if this was real life, I would hate this. But Jay is like, okay, he's with somebody else, so that means he wouldn't get attached to me because K-pop stars, it's very hard for them to. First of all, being gay is like, and then also whenever K-pop stars has like significant others, the fans are kind of insane. So he does really want a relationship because the drama it will bring will not be worth it. So yeah, the story kind of goes from there. A lot of drama. So good. This book was so bingeable. The audio is out, so you could listen to it like that. So spicy, spicy, so good. And there's a debut author. Like this is the same author that wrote Oleander that I'm still like terrified to read. But this is what made me be like, I would read whatever she writes, even though I haven't read Oleander yet. Leave me alone. But the writing, just read the prologue. Just read the prologue and tell me that you didn't binge this after that. The prologue is literally the best thing I ever read in my entire life. And I was dying on that hill. And I've read Whisper and everything else. But the prologue of this had me like by the truth. And I was like, oh yeah, I need to finish the book now today. The prologue is so good. It's so good. It like sucks you in immediately. The next one I have is Little Demon in the Details. My babies, my babies. So this one, okay, we're already like racking up on time, but I'm gonna try to explain this as fast as I can. This follows Mercer and Blake. Both of them, well, Mercer's family is rich, but like like clean rich. So I think Mercer's father is like the mayor, or they're just like clean rich. So everybody like the whole town looks up to them, yada yada yada. Whereas Blake is like the you would say like it's like illegally rich. But both of the families, Blake's family and Mercer's family are rich, and Mercer's family proposes an arranged marriage with Blake's family for one of Blake's brothers. And Blake's dad is like, Blake, try to figure out why this family wants to have any deals with us because technically we are illegally rich. So you would think they wouldn't want anything to do with us to stay in their good graces in the public. So Blake now is like, okay, who is the weakest link in his family? And then that's when he sees Mercer because Mercer is currently getting arrested in lingerie. And it's like, why? Like it's like a scandal for the rich family because remember these rich families like to like play like they're so reserved and posh, and Mercer is like definitely not that. So Blake is like, this is the weakest link. He is the one who will like ruin this whole family. Like he's the one who I probably could get the most information of to like see what's really going on with his family because you could see that he rebelling against the family by getting arrested in lingerie. So Blake then proceeds to nap Mercer and he has a lot more than he's bargained for with Mercer. So while they are in this like secluded house, Mercer is not giving anything away, and Blake is like, oh wow, this yeah, I didn't estimate how insane Mercer is, and the story kind of goes from there. This is Brat, this is Grumpy Sunshine. This doesn't have Daddy King, but it has that dumb sub vibe, and it's very spicy. Mercer is such a brat, but at the same time he acts out because he's so hurt inside. So you feel so sorry for him, like Muscle is just he's just so perfect, and I like protect Muscle. What's the word? Protect Muscle at all costs. Like he is a perfect baby bear, but I could understand that a lot of people do not like him because he's very bright and he's very like kind of over the top. So I could see why some people find that annoying, but I love him so much because he's not doing it just to be annoying. He's like lashing out because he's like dealing with a lot internally. So yeah, I love this book so much. This book is perfect in my eyes, and I cannot wait for the audio if it ever comes out. I just love this book. I just love it. Next, we have what we have here. Oh, this is the last book I have to talk about. The last book is Mistaken Prejudice by Lewin. This book is amazing. So this book follows Miles and Andre, and this is actually a continuing series. I've talked about it a lot on my channel. Is the Bad Inception series. The first four books are out, and there's only one more book to come out. It's coming out in March, and I will tie up the whole series, but it's interconnected standalones. You cannot read book two, three, four, anything without having read. Like you have to read them in order, essentially, because the plot is like an overarching plot. But each book has different couples, except two books follow the same couple. All is the thing. Book one is Mistaken Prejudice, and it follows Miles and Andre, and so essentially the whole like series follows these four guys who are foster brothers, and they are on the like they come from the bad side of the tracks, and they are going to this like elite rich what's it called, private high school. Yep, is it a high school or college? I can't remember too good. And they are like trying to like be like reformed bad boys. Like they're trying to like keep the peace so they don't get expelled from the school, because the person who's like watching their like guardian is like giving them this chance and like trying to like get them to like not just trying to get them to have a brighter future. So they're trying to like be good and finish high school so they could, make their guardian proud. So while they are there, obviously some of them are more, what's the word? Have gone through so much that they refuse to be good than the others. But Andre, he's like the leader of the four of them, but they have the guardian. But of the four of the boys, Andre is kind of like the leader who try to keep all of them like behaving, and he is on his way to go to lunch in the beginning of the book, and he bunks up Miles, and Miles is one of the rich guys in this private school, and he Andre bunks him up like taking care of his horse, and he's like, who is this like beautiful boy taking care of this horse in the school? Like, and first of all, this school has horses, like I've never seen anything like this. So they meet, and of like immediately they're like not obsessed, but like immediately they are attracted to each other, and they're like, I want to like know more about you and everything like that. And Miles is not like prejudiced to them. Or I don't know if that's the word, but he's not like judging them or anything. He's like, I want to know more about him. He's just not judgy, which I liked. I like that because there are some of the rich students like Shirley who is like, who are these poor, da, 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 you know what I mean? But Miles is not like that, and they fall off each other like quickly. This one was really romantic because the rest of the series, well, I only read the first two, but even from book two, these books start to get darker and darker, and even in the synopsis of this one, she says that the series just get darker and darker. So this one's actually the lightest one, and you felt it. This one was really romantic, really sweet. Hopefully, you're not hearing the rain in the background, but this book was really romantic, really sweet. Miles is a virgin, so Andre like carries him on other dates, like beach dates, because he's a surfer, and he like takes the first time scenes were really really beautiful, the kissing, like I don't know, I just liked how the intimate scenes were written, like it was just very romantic. And the last 40% of this book had my jaw on the floor. Like I was shocked by the last 40% of this book, because like so much drama was happening, and you see how the drama could like turn into a bigger thing as the series goes on, because this book is like the beginning of the actual like big plot, and it more starts off at like the last 40%. You see it like, oh wow, this story taking a dark turn, like kind of way. So yeah, I loved it. And even book two, just as I say, it gets darker and darker, and heavy topics. So this one, look up your sugar. So this one, because Miles does have I don't want to say it, 'cause I feel like it's a spoiler. So let's look up the triggers. But yeah, this book was so good. I highly recommend it, and I highly recommend this series. I've only read the first two. I want to read the third and fourth, but I'm waiting for the fifth one, because the third and fourth end on cliffhangers, and the fifth one is the final one that will type everything together. And I don't want to be left on a cliffhanger. Thank God it's coming out in March, so I don't have to wait too long. But yeah, I love this series, and I highly recommend it. It's so underrated. And if you see that, like these characters, if you see his characters on other books, like this one, um this author Lewin, she's actually the creator of this type of art on the books that have these kind of covers, like on Garan Park. She's on a lot of covers. This is actually the same artist, so she's so talented in art and in writing. So yeah, she's killing it. So those are all the books that I find are bingeable, especially this one, the last 40%, jaw on the floor. If you've read any of them, please let me know down below. I'd love to know. And if you have any books that you recommend to me that you binged and you think are like so fast paced and just like had you like hooked from the beginning, please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. Any other videos you want to see from me, please let me know, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.